question that the beauty of St. Andrew transcends time. It is ageless. Today we journey to Belleplaine. Kenneth Dash tells his story of Belleplaine, the capital of St. Andrew.
I'm from Belleplaine, St. Andrew, which some people may say the capital of St. Andrew. One, because when I was young, we had the police station, we had the post office, we had the welfare, and then somewhere along the line, they changed that from the Arms House to develop it into the maternity hospital, the St. Andrew District Maternity Hospital. Okay? So people leave, and that used to serve St. Andrew, St. Thomas, St. Joseph, and you had some people from St. Peter's used to come up and use it. Okay? But now, that was changed from maternity hospital. It's used now as a clinic. It was closed down for some time, and then they bring it back now as a clinic. So, it now changed to a clinic where the serve as an extension of for the Ministry of Health, and also we had a gas station, and we had two schools, the Allen School and St. Andrew's Boys and Girls School. So technically we had three schools.
Now, what did school life mean to Kenneth? He reflects.
When I look back now, I think it prepared us for the world of work and for a better education. Every morning you get to school. When the bell rang, you had to line up in your prospective class lines, and you had to show your hands, make sure your fingers were well groomed and clean, etc. And your hair, the same thing, because the teacher's going to pass a comb through your hair. That's it. And your handkerchief should be in your top pocket and everything. So it was for the world of work and make you a better person than you came into school. So we would walk to school in the mornings, walk back home for lunch, back to school, and back in the afternoon back home. We work in groups, and you had your own flower garden, okay? And besides the flower garden, over the other side, there was another garden, which was the agriculture garden, where you had your pumpkins, all sorts of things. On mornings, maybe go to biscuit and milk, and then wash your hand, you use your milk, you used to hold back the biscuits. And then we would go above the school and pick some spinach and slide them in with biscuits, in between the biscuits, and use them. But then also, when we were in class 4, class 3, class 4, we used to leave sometimes on Fridays, leave about 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, just after lunch. When they mark the register, you will form in lines and go to the Allen School to do the woodwork. School divided to do with the woodwork or the electrical work. So they were teaching you a trade all the way around. So technically, sometimes you might hear a fellow say, he went to school at Allen School, and you can't accuse him. He's right. He learned some trade at Allen School. Before he got vacation, those desks and chairs, sorry, not chairs, benches, you had to scrub them. You were in class 4, so you had to scrub those desks and chairs from class 4, even though next year you won't be using them. So you always have to prepare for other students who are coming in. And that was quite interesting. But if you look at it carefully now, they were preparing you for something.
Back then, St. Andrew's Girls and Boys was a separate institution, but this did not limit interaction.
Let's say they were all on the same compound. There was no boundaries inside between boys and girls. Only boundaries were limitation, because they were girls and we were boys, but yet still, if you're playing cricket and our ball went, then we go to fetch the ball and they were sending back for us. They were playing netball and such a thing, but there was no physical barriers. At certain times during the year, we both went to church together. Like Ash Wednesday, you had the boys and the girls going to church at the parish church. Okay, so, and that time Reverend Gallup also would come into the school Sometimes he passing, going down to church, walking down to the church, and if he had free time, he came into the school, chat with the teachers, etc. And I think the community life was a lot better. You even had the police who would patrol in on foot or on bicycle, and they would come into the school and chat with the teachers, etc. It was more a family affair and a community affair.
A visit to the beach was often accompanied by a few stops in between.
We going to the beach, or what we would do as we go to the East Coast, Miss Brown had some coconut trees, you know. We would go and we will pick some coconuts, especially the hard coconuts. But if they were drinking coconuts, we would also pick some. We would take, if there were 6 of us, we would take probably 1 hard coconut and 1 drink of coconut. And we left the yellow bunches there for Miss Brown when she comes back. You know, there was no noise, we didn't, well, no, we might call it stealing. But in those days, we were picking just to eat. You know, there was no noise. You know, when she comes back, she sees the wheel, and then she knows, well, some boys pass here, and they went to the beach. What we used to do is to take a little pen knife or something that will bore a hole, and if you check a coconut carefully, you have it, so you have 3 eyes, or something like a face. Right. We will bore a hole in one of those coconuts, and we will drink the water. And then we will widen the hole. Yeah, and when we go into the sea, we will catch the sea water into the coconut, shake it up, drink it, then break it and eat the hard jelly.
Did that do something to the flavor or something that you add the seawater to it?
To us, it used to taste very good. Real sweet. You know, we enjoyed it.
And then there was the river.
The river used to flow into Long Pond. Mm-hmm. So the river is going to come from down by the church for walkers, come through the bridge there, on the bridge, and take that back route, and flow right into Long Pond. Going to pass just behind the Allen School, not directly behind the Allen School, make a switch, just a little left turn, and flow straight into Long Pond. Long Pond used to carry river water and sea water. Okay. And there were some it's called some lobsters that you could get from the seawater side, and there was some crayfish that you get from the river water side. So both of them flowing, and you could safely walk through the Long Pond section, although you had to swim. Some areas you could walk across it to area closer to the sea. Okay? And if you walk through that, you left in the marks.
Life seemed very carefree for a boy in that time, but not for Kenneth.
Whereas my friends could have go and bathe in the river and fish in the river, I could not do that. I could pass through the river, because then we had some stepping stones and rocks in the river. Mm-hmm. I could step on those rocks and go through the river, because I was going into the bay now to get some cashews, fat porks, and grapes. But whereas like my friends could hit off and go and swim in the river, not me. Because if you know river water good, it tells a tale. You may wash as much as you like, but there's always a mark that leaves on your skin. And she will know it.
How so? What this mark is like?
It is like the dirt from the river.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How so have you bathed? Because if you bathe, you can go. If you bathe in the river, you can go back with the school, the Allen School, and you can bathe under the pipe. Okay? And don't care how much you bathe on the pipe, because you're just using water now to bathe. There's no soap like you're using to bathe, but don't care how much you bathe, you can still leave a tail. So if my tail was on my foot, then she know I went in. I passed through the river to get to the bay.
And that's okay.
And that's okay.
But if it's on your back, no.
The different kind of fish.
So how would you, now you're talking about fish, how could you go crayfishing?
Well, I would stay on the bank, and I would, throw up my line, catch the fish with the case maybe. But thinking about bathing is a different kettle of fish. Different kettle of fish. But another interesting thing that we had is there was a bank. The bank maybe still be there, that we used to walk down. But what we used to do, we would go into the river, get some buckets or some containers, go into the river, catch some water, and go on top of the bank and pour this water down. Okay? And then we use some cardboards. We bend the cardboards and we sliding down. It was enjoyable. Even some other school guys used to do it in their school clothes. It was enjoyable. You know, boys will always be boys.
Now, let's get serious. Boys will be boys, but they still had their work to do.
I had to take out the sheep and the goat before I go to school. And by that time, my mother also had some pigs, so you know, you had to look after them. And when you, especially pigs, when you finish with them, you gotta go and bathe and prepare for school. And you know, before you bathe, there's a good perfume, so you gotta get rid of that perfume off of you. Right? But there's something that happened to me when I was a child, and I still remember it. I was supposed to bring the sheep and goat, but we were playing football on the island school pasture. Beautiful afternoon, moonlight came up, and we still kicking football, and the animals still out there. So when I took them in, fed them, and all sorts of things. Mommy asked me, why so late? And I said, I was playing football with the guys. And she warned me, to every action there are consequences. You know? The consequence came later on, when the church excursion came around. And by that time, Mommy had went to town, buy clothes for all of us, wash and press and everything there. This beautiful, fateful morning, I did everything I had to do up front. Get ready for this excursion. Only about 10 minutes before the buses roll, somebody came to me and said, Mommy needs you. And I gone. And she said, you remember that you brought in these animals late? Take off those clothes. You're not going anywhere. A lesson that I would never forget.
Oh boy.
No, it was a good lesson. It teach me, well, if you have something to do it, do it. The price will come if you do it and if you don't do it. So that was my price to pay.
Church played an important role in Kenneth's life, regardless of denomination.
Technically, I went to the Adventist church on Saturdays, and because my male side of my family were Adventists and still Adventists. My uncle was hired me Adventist church, so you know I had to go. So we used to go to the Adventist on Saturdays, and then on Sundays we would go to the Gospel Hall. So you see, the Adventist church is, if you're leaving Belleplaine, there by the supermarket, just as you make a turn, a slight little turn, that is the Adventist church there. If you're going to the Allen School, that is the Adventist church. And well, the Gospel Hall is back here beside my mother's house. And then the Church of God. Then we get a little further down the road, we have Miss Campbell Church. A little further down the road, you have the Christian Mission Church.
Memories of excursions, the ones he did attend, echoed true community spirit.
Everybody was nobody, if you understand what I'm saying. People shared everything they had. There's no exceptions to the rule. And as children, we really want to get the King's Park, to play, get on the swings and play and enjoy ourselves. You know? And it was so nice at that point in time. Your parents would have baked some cakes, put in some chicken, you know. For those who eat pork, they would have baked their pork and you had enough drinks, you know. And sandwiches and all sorts. And an enjoyable day. And that to me, there was some good Barbados, but you know, there's a risk. And if you know children, especially the boys, we encouraging the drivers to go on. You know? We had chauffeurs or bus drivers like Clifford Paris. We had a gentleman we used to call in the Pope, Murray, Gladstone Murray. We had Mr. Allen Biggie. And we had some more chauffeurs. For kids like us who think some of the chauffeurs will stop and give us basically we might call it a tutorial now. That was what area this is, what is thing with KSB, and show us anything that was interested in that particular path or scenery. So yes, while it was an excursion, they use it to educate us also. Even though we came from Belleplaine, they're going to St. Philip. If you're interested that this chauffeur was slow when they get by the agriculture station, Highgates, on the soil, and they will try to explain to us what that organization does and all sorts of things. And then as we move our way up, it all depends on the route that they were taking. If they take the Vachmahal route, then we get to know what is the cave, the botanical gardens, etc. So it was always an educational process for us.
We often hear about Rockland Bus Company, but what of its origins?
Rockland Bus Company was originally from Belleplaine. If you're coming up, you're coming around the corner by the Rockland, by the Rectory corner, just after you pass the police station, you're coming around that corner, and that corner there was the Rectory, or that concerned the church, and then you're going to pass the district hospital. It used to be, we call it Arms House before, then they changed it into the district hospital, and then it was changed to a maternity hospital. Right now it is a part of the welfare. Nursing and welfare, this part, the government still use it as a clinic. And just after that, 2 seconds after that, is the Rockland Bus Service. It serves St. Andrew, it serves Port of St. Thomas, Port of St. James. And on our way on its route to town, you know, it's going to pick up all those people in St. Michael, the short journeys and all sorts of things.
Entrepreneurship is a modern term. Kenneth learned a lot from his mother, a shopkeeper.
While Daddy was alive, Daddy had a shop. And Mommy took over that operation. And then she was our mother and also our father. So we had lost our father in the early days. Maybe all or most of us were young children. Well, owning a shop means that you must trust people. Because during the week, you know, people need grocery. By that time, Highgates Plantation was in operation. And the majority of people from around the area would have been working at Highgates. So the wives or the unlawful wives will come to get groceries, etc. You know, so they will come and they will trust. You give them their tick, your tag. You know, you can keep your own thing, but you tell them what it does and give them, such that come Friday now, when the husband or the male comes to pay the bill, he will know up front what is his bill. They have what you call the rambar. And you could walk through and do a little thing that you push, spin, you are in the rambar.
The saloon doors.
Yes. So whereas the gentlemen, this side having their drink, you'll get the ladies that side buying the groceries and everything. But you're the only person in the shop, man in the shop, so you're going to be selling the groceries and dealing with the gentlemen the same thing.
Were you allowed to be in the bar at any point in time, or you were only allowed to be in the grocery section?
But in the grocery section, there was a window which you have to deal with the guys in the bar.
Ah. Bar rules. What you see here, let it stay here.
There's so many memories of working in the shop. Is a prayer. Yep. One thing for sure, you must always remember, is that there are some things you will learn you were over here, but whatsoever you as a child heard in that shop, it stays there, whether it be good or bad. The only person you were allowed to discuss or report that to was mommy. So I couldn't even say to my brothers or sisters, A, B, or C. Because as far as my mother was concerned, it was not for them. You only overheard something or see something because you were accidentally there at the time. There was a gentleman that came to the shop while I was there, while I was in charge. Mommy was in the house, and he trusted some groceries, some alcohol and things. So I recorded in the book, and I told Mommy what it was. But come Friday, when Mommy said to him, "Well, your bill is X," he asked, "Why?" And Mommy said, "On this particular day, you had A, B, C, or the case may be," and he tried to deny it. But there were some gentlemen, there were some other men there who had used the same beverages that he had bought. So they said to him, "Listen, you trusted the girls for the boy. And we drank the rum. Pay for it. If you're not paying for it, we can pay for it. But it is your order because you ordered it. And when we order, you drank some of ours. So pay your order." Yes, he did pay. But this is the beauty of it now. Later on, when I left school, my first job was at MTW as a supervisor. Unfortunately, he had to work with me. So the oldest conversation we had, because when I went first to the job, I said, "Good morning." I was introduced to him, and they said, "Good morning," the usual protocol and all sorts of things. I would give him, if there was any instructions, I would give him the instructions, as nice as possible. He would say, "Thank you. You do what you have to do," but otherwise he never said we're wrong to me. God rest him, Mrs. Grave now.
There are those characteristics that are germane to communities like those of St. Andrew.
I said it earlier before we started recording that it appears that the gentlemen originating from the parish of St. Joseph and St. Andrew, they would go out and they would find a wife or take a wife and bring her back to St. Andrew. Bring her back to where the navel string is buried. Is it just the beauty, or you think there is more than just the beauty of the parish that beckons you to live there and to stay there?
That was a very good observation that you made, because my father went to St. Michael and brought my mother from St. Michael to St. Andrew. I believe, and most people will think, I believe St. Andrew is the best parish in Barbados. I love everything about it. The only thing that caused me to move away is because of the roads at that point in time. And I would just started work. I had to get to work early in the morning, so I just got to get the 5 o'clock bus, which would get me in Bridgetown just after 6. And then I would take a van or a case baby and head to work. But now, if the roads, well, we still got a problem with the roads, but if the roads were nice and all sorts of things, yes, no problem. I'd be back there.
St. Andrew paints a picture for us that is beautiful beyond measure. Whether it is walkers, or the hilly sites of Chalky Mount, or through Cambridge, or Belleplaine, and the East Coast Road, all of it makes up a part of our community, a piece of our past woven into the present that makes way for the future. You've been watching My Community right here in Belleplaine, St. Andrew. Join us as we continue to journey across the many landscapes across Barbados. I'm Kimberly Skeet.